You don't notice it at first. A friend agrees with you too quickly. A stranger remembers your name too perfectly. Someone pauses, just long enough, before asking you for something. It feels natural, smooth, almost accidental. It's not. Because the most effective psychological manipulation doesn't look like control. It feels like your own decision. And that's exactly why it works. Right now, more people are learning these techniques than ever before. Not therapists, not researchers, just ordinary people watching short clips, reading threads, testing things in real conversations. Some of it is harmless. Some of it isn't. And the line between the two is thinner than you think. Because once you understand how these tricks work, you start seeing them everywhere. Let's start simple. There's a technique called mirroring. You've probably done it without realizing. Someone crosses their arms, you cross yours. They lean forward, you lean forward too. Their tone softens, yours follows. It sounds basic, almost trivial. But here's the part people don't tell you. Mirroring doesn't create connection. It creates the illusion of similarity. And your brain is wired to trust people who feel like you. In controlled experiments, people who subtly mirrored body language were rated as more trustworthy, more likable, and more persuasive, even when nothing else changed. Same words, same timing, same request.
Different outcome. Because the brain shortcuts the process. Feels like me becomes safe. And safe becomes yes. Now imagine someone doing this deliberately. Not just posture, but speech patterns, pacing, even emotional reactions. At that point, you're not just talking to them. You're talking to a reflection of yourself. And it's very hard to argue with your own reflection. But mirroring is just the entry point. The next layer is quieter. It's called the foot in the door effect. It works like this. You don't ask for something big. You ask for something small, almost insignificant. A quick favor, a minor agreement, a simple yes. And once that yes is given, something shifts. Because the human brain hates inconsistency. If you said yes once, you're more likely to say yes again, just to stay aligned with your previous choice. Not because you want to, but because your identity is now involved. In one classic study, people who agreed to put a tiny sticker on their window were later far more likely to install a large, ugly sign on their lawn supporting the same cause. The request didn't change. The person did. And that's the trick. You're not convincing someone in one moment. You're slowly reshaping how they see themselves. I'm the kind of person who agrees to this. And once that belief is in place, the rest becomes easier. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable, because these techniques don't rely on force. They rely on cooperation. Your cooperation. Another one. Silence. Most people think persuasion is about talking. It's not. It's about knowing when to stop. There's a specific kind of silence that creates pressure. Not awkward silence, not confused silence, deliberate silence. You make a request, and then you wait. No justification, no explanation, no filler. Just stillness. What happens next is predictable. The other person starts to feel the need to fill the gap, to respond, to resolve the tension. And in that moment, they often give more than they intended. More information, more agreement, more compromise. Because silence, used correctly, feels heavier than words. It forces the other person to carry the conversation. And most people aren't comfortable carrying that weight, so they give something up to escape it. Now, combine this with another principle: scarcity.
You've seen this everywhere. Only 2 spots left. Limited time offer. Last chance. It sounds obvious, overused, but it still works. Because scarcity doesn't just signal value, it creates urgency. And urgency bypasses careful thinking. When something feels like it might disappear, your brain shifts from evaluation to action. Not, is this good? But can I lose this? That subtle shift changes everything. In studies, identical products are rated as more desirable simply because they are presented as limited. Same product, different framing. Higher demand because the fear of missing out is stronger than the desire to gain. And here's the part most people miss. Scarcity doesn't have to be real. It just has to feel real. Now step back for a second. Look at what's happening here. Mirroring makes you trust. Small agreements make you commit. Silence makes you reveal. Scarcity makes you rush. Individually, each one is simple. Together, they start to form a system that doesn't push you. It guides you, quietly, almost invisibly. And that's where the real danger is. Because when manipulation becomes invisible, it becomes normalized. You stop questioning why you agreed. You stop noticing how decisions are shaped. You start believing they were yours all along. But not all of this is malicious. Some of these techniques are used in therapy, in negotiation, in everyday communication. The difference isn't the method, it's the intent. Helping someone feel understood is not the same as engineering their behavior. But from the outside, it can look identical. That's the uncomfortable truth. The same tools that build connection can also exploit it. And in a world where attention is currency and influence is power, more people are learning how to use these tools without fully understanding the consequences. Because once you realize how predictable human behavior can be, it becomes very tempting to control it, even just a little. So the question isn't whether these dark psychology tricks actually work. They do. The real question is, if someone used them on you today, would you even notice?